Welcome everybody, my name is Caitie Thompson. I am a multi-instrumentalist, singer-songwriter, and producer. I am here on behalf of Music Over Miles to talk to you about music production, and in today's video, we're going to discuss how to make some pretty cool beats in your DAW. So, let's take a look. Okay, so here is the fun part about working with MIDI instruments. This is literally been my life for the last month and a half. So, first things first, I'm going to always recommend, instead of using external MIDI, which is basically you'd be using the sounds that actually come programmed on your MIDI instrument, I'm going to recommend that you use the software instrument. A few reasons for this. If you did external MIDI, you'd have to learn how to route your MIDI keyboard into Logic, and it's a very technical process. It's very difficult. I don't recommend that if you're just starting out. Okay, let's take the easy road here because there's so much you can do. So you're going to choose software instrument because we're going to use all of the different sounds that Logic or GarageBand has. So this will come up empty channel strip, and that's fine. Hit create, and then you have this track that pops up here. So what you're going to do is take a look over in this menu. You've got bass, drums, electronic drums, guitars, mallets, orchestra, piano, synthesizer, organ, all that good stuff. There's so many different things. And then there's just sound effects. That's where cinematic and legacy come in. So the first thing that I would recommend doing is starting yourself off with some kind of drum groove, something that's basic. Okay, everybody's listened to pop music before. You have an idea of what, your favorite drum grooves sound like. And if you need to think about it, if you're really unsure where to start, then I would suggest going to YouTube and taking a look at, some of your favorite artists. Reference their tracks. This is how the professionals do it. They listen to the music that inspires them, and then they build off of it. So that's how you should do it as well. So I've got this big room drum machine selected. So then what I'm going to do here is I'm going to double check that my tempo is where I want it to be. I think 110 is probably good. And then I am going to make sure that my metronome is highlighted. That way it actually starts to click when I want to play. And next thing you'll notice, my cursor is not at the beginning. It was back here. So quick tip, hit return, and it goes straight back to the beginning. You can also use the controls up here if you want to. I like the shortcuts because they're fast. So the next thing that I'm going to do is start to experiment with the sounds that I can get using the beat pad on my Alesis keyboard here. So let's check this out for a second. Make sure you can see. Okay, so all you need to do is just start experimenting with what you get. There's a bass drum, snare drum, hi-hat, little almost kind of like a laser sound, crash. That almost sounds like a cross between a hi-hat and a shaker. Ride, laser-ish. Now, you don't have to do anything nearly as involved as what I'm doing. I'm a drummer, so rhythm is kind of my bag. But what if you want to start out just a little bit easier? How about something like... something as easy as that would still work. And then you can just build and build on top of it. So I'm going to go for a groove that's more like this myself. That's what I'm going to do. So coming back over to the computer real quick, a really cool tool is this cycle tool. So what that does is this. The cycle tool allows you to just keep repeating the same 4 measures or the same 4 bars. And that's important because what if it takes you a few tries to really get this down, right? So check this out. I'm going to hit record, and then I'm going to start to play my beat. Okay, so now what we're going to do is come back to the screen here, and first and foremost, you're going to make sure that your track is selected, and then you're going to hit quantize, and that can be done with the Q button. The reason that we want to do this is because we're human, we make mistakes, and if you want this to be pretty much to the letter and like perfectly in sync with the metronome, this is going to cure any mistakes that you might have made. So, track is selected, hit quantize. Now watch what happens to the audio. Watch these little ticks right here. They shift. And so now everything is going to perfectly match up with the metronome. Let's go back, take a listen. Yeah. Sweet. So there you go. Now you've created a drum track of some kind. Yours does not have to sound exactly like mine. I encourage you to make your own beat, do your own rhythms, whatever feels right for you. That's just the one that felt right for me at that moment. Tomorrow it'll be totally different. You just never know. Okay, so next, let's add a track on top of that. So, head over here to the New Tracks button. Same thing, software, instrument. And now, you're going to see that your menu resets, and I'm going to choose synthesizer, because there's a lot of cool synthesizer sounds here. Let's try EDM chord and dark chords. I don't know. It was there. It sounded good. Why not? So now let's just play a few things. It's a little low. I'm going to actually make my keyboard go up. I like that. So that button, by the way, that I hit, it says down and then up. What that does is it actually raises the pitch of whatever notes you're playing on your keyboard. So check this out. All right. I think that's a good register. I'll stay right there. Okay, so now I'm ready to go. I think I know what I want to record. Hit R for record, or you can hit the little red button in the controls at the top. All right. So now what we're going to do, same thing, hit Q for quantize, and then return to go back and listen. Hit the space bar for play. Cool, I like it. I'm going to take off the metronome. And now let's add something else. Why not? Let's do like a bass. Get some kind of like low end in there. That'd be cool. And I think I'm going to keep it in the synthesizer family. Go to like EDM bass. And then let's just see. Let's try bounce bass. That sounds cool. Let's listen to it. Oh, that's kind of neat. Let's take it down an octave. Oh, that's wicked. I like it. Cool. Let's do that one. Again, put my metronome back on. All right. So now, let's take the metronome off. Hit quantize. That way everything is nice and clean and plays really well together. Go back to the beginning. That's pretty cool, but it's a little loud in the mix, so you can grab this volume fader right here, and let's just take it down a little bit. I I kind of like it, but I'm not sold on it either. So let's try something else. So what you're going to find is that there's a lot of different sounds here, and you're going to have to really experiment and just figure out what it is that you like. Whoa. That's pretty cool. Buzz phaser bass. Wow, that's legit. Okay, let's give it a shot. And just because it came out really loud here, let's just go ahead and back off that volume a little bit. Oh, that's cool. I kind of liked it, not gonna lie. All right, so quantize. Pretty gnarly sounding. So maybe not. I'm gonna go with not. So anyway, guys, that's how you really start to do this stuff. You just have to play with those sounds and really know what you're looking for. It does help to have a reference on YouTube that you can go back to and say, you know, I really like this sound. I want to try to find something like that. You know, one of my favorite EDM artists is Deadmau5. So a lot of the stuff that I've done previously, I would try to, you know, emulate some of the sounds that Deadmau5 created, which is not always easy to do. It can take a lot of time to do it, but man, once you get it done, it's, you know, it's pretty rewarding. So, okay, so there we go. So today you learned how to hook up your MIDI keyboard. You learned how to use those software instruments to create, you know, new patches, and there's a lot of different ways that you can even manipulate the sounds too of all of these. So always remember too that sometimes you might have to adjust your volume if one track is louder than the other, and then just have fun. Just go for it and experiment, create, and I'll see you in the next video.